The liberal agenda has taken over. I mean, take these guys at PTR Radio, just look at these basement dwellers. Two fat guys, and someone who thinks he's a freaking monkey. The end is near, folks.
And now back to just a great podcast. I mean, really great bunch of guys, just the biggest and best stars on the podcast scene.
And now back to PTR Radio with Mike the Ape Man, Shaggy, and Colin. These three guys should really come with a warning label, maybe like for rectal use only. Feel my body, drink my wine.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of PTR Radio here on the fabulous interweb. Had a little bit of time for arts and crafts today.
So. Is that what we're calling that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So. But yes, welcome everybody. Please make sure that you check out our social media channels at PTR Radio on all the favorite places: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All the normal ones. That's where we're at. That's where you can find us. And let's see here. I think Mike might maybe be able to even use the toy. Maybe not. We'll see.
We'll find out.
There's been a bit of networking changes going on at the studio. So, we'll see. But
oh no, Shaggy's rewiring again.
Oh, did we ever rewire? We went 10 gig, baby. 10 gigs. We needed it. Desperately needed rewiring. So, yep.
Wait. You went 10 gig internal wiring. Did you go 10 gig up to your internet connection?
Well, no. I'm not made of money like you. But no.
I don't have 10.
So I went. So internet connection is a good like 1.8. So I went 2.5 from the modem to the main switch, and then I'm 10 gig to the main switch. So, and in between all my major devices, all the plebe stuff like the Rokus and the cameras and all that stuff, they're still just standard old gig. But, no need for them to be expensive. So.
And okay. No, the toy is not working right now.
Okay.
But so, as I said before the show started, I'm having some equipment issues. So I have to ask the question, Mike, are you having any lag between audio and video?
No.
Or is it just me? Okay.
It's just you.
My video is very lagged. I don't know what's going on.
Well,
but as long
it's
as
kind of funny because
when that's fine.
When I look at myself, there's a lag between my voice and like I look like a bad overdub movie. But when you speak, your lips are synced up. Shaggy, say something.
Yeah, here we are. We're doing a great show. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, you're linked up fine. So
it's just me. I just was checking.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like a 2-second lag between when Shaggy talks and I see his lips move.
So
that's me.
That's all right. So I'll keep an eye on the chat stuff. But it's interesting that we talk about technical problems because before the show, Mike and I were talking about some of the things we wanted to do for this evening. And for those of you that don't know about the show, by the way, we talk about everything and anything. So this is pretty much whatever pops into our little heads. And, one thing that just popped into my head right now is we're going to get some promotion next weekend. So we're gonna be featured at a major event, Mike. Featured is a strong word. All right. We're going to be advertised at a major event next week.
Well, the Super Bowl's not next week, so what are you advertising us at?
So we're going to be advertised at the largest trivia event, the record-breaking trivia event in Illinois. So, we will be on the big screens. Our faces will be there saying, hey, these guys are idiots that you should listen to. So, you know,
Now,
we'll
see,
be
if
right
you
there
really
with Papa
wanted to play
John's.
this up, if you really wanted to play this up, for one of the categories, I would have gladly gone in front of a green screen and read the questions. You know, like when they have celebrities read the video questions on Video Daily Doubles on Jeopardy. I would have gladly done that and hammed it up.
If
Like PTR Radio actually is something.
if I'd have had control of that, we would have done it. But
Okay.
I'm not even reading questions, which I think is a crock. You know, I am behind the scenes running all the video equipment and audio equipment, you know, spending 24 hours at this venue making sure everything is set up and running correctly. But I am helping to organize all the talent. You know, the cavalcade of celebrity judges, you know, and I am making sure that the who they say are stars, local celebrities, which I have argued with year after year, are not celebrities. You know, these people that are on terrestrial radio. I mean, terrestrial radio? Really? Who listens to that anymore? Nobody listens to that anymore.
I was waiting for you to tell me, like, we're very happy to have as one of our judges this evening, Buddy Bo Bob Brain here, who just ate the world's largest watermelon at the county fair last week.
I mean, it's pretty close, Mike. All right, we've got a DJ from the country station, and we've got a guy who was fired from the TV station as the weatherman. So a guy who used to be the weatherman.
The question is, why was he fired?
Well, because he didn't like the corporate policy. That's why.
Okay. So it wasn't like he was fired because he touched himself or something.
No, nothing as nefarious as that we know of.
Okay.
So he was fired. How long has it been now, Shaggy?
I think 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it's been 3 or 4 years, and he's still the area's favorite weatherman.
Even though he is not on television, he does not do the weather anymore.
Okay.
And by the way, I screwed up because I did some promotion for this thing, and I put out his old TV station like picture. Not that it had like the TV station logo or anything. It was just like his old classic headshot from back when he worked for that. And is he ever a prima donna? He was very pissed that I had the audacity to put up an old headshot of when he used to work for that company. And I'm like, listen, this is not the celebrity that you need. You need PTR Radio. You need Colin and Shaggy, and then we need to fly in Mike the Ape Man for this evening appearance. You know, flights are cheap right now. I understand that, and you know, we are the celebrity guests. We should be on the big jumbotron. You know, that's the way it is. We bring it. You know, who could have more fun than us? Nobody. I don't think so.
I'm all about it.
Yeah.
I'm not even asking to get paid. Just cover my travel expenses. I'm all about it.
That's right.
I'll tell you what. I'll even drive. This way, you don't have to fly. You just got to reimburse me, 30? What is it up to? Well, it might be cheaper to fly. I think it's like 78 cents a mile now or some ridiculous thing?
No idea. I think you take out a small loan to fill up your tank, but, you know.
Well, this is accurate.
God forbid you have to drive to pick up eggs. You might have to get a second mortgage. But
my damn Expedition has a 28-gallon tank. When it gets low and I pull up, it's like, oh, here we go. This is going to hurt.
Remember when you used to get enough change out of the couch to fill up your tank? Oh, the good old days.
I remember when I used to collect a couple bucks from the guys when I would drive them to school back in high school, and that was my gas money for the entire week for all the running around I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then some. Still had money to buy a chocolate milk at lunch. I mean,
but you know, maybe the reason after 15 years that we haven't gotten asked to be a celebrity, host, is because the show isn't funny enough. I mean, I can't imagine that, but I've got some help for us. in doing prep for the show tonight, I came
Whoa,
across.
Wait.
What?
I want to be real clear about something. That bottom vacant quad that is just a title card, Mike Ellis better not pop in there.
No. So,
okay.
We've been doing this a long time, and we like to think that we're not always funny. Not everything's a joke. Let's be clear of that. All right. But we like to think we're funny occasionally. All right. But maybe we should take a page out of an article from Cloud Radio, who obviously is the end-all be-all in the industry. Says, make your radio and podcast shows funnier with these helpful tips. Now, Mike, we need to take these to heart. All right? Tip number 1, make them laugh from the show's intro.
I think we do that.
I like to think we're funny from the beginning, but if we're not, we should be. It should just be chuckles nonstop. So Colin,
Okay.
get some funny hats. All right? Mike's already got some. If we all get funny hats, then obviously people will laugh. All right? Tip number 2. All right? Now, funny hat. Ha 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 ha. Funny. Tip number 2. Banter between the show's hosts or guests. You mean we're supposed to talk to each other?
We don't do that?
Mike can banter with himself.
I mean,
That's true. I do have multiple personalities sometimes. No, I don't. Yes, you do.
I saw a shirt the other day that was great. It said, pay no attention to me if I'm talking to myself. We're just having a team meeting.
Go ahead.
As far as tips for the banter, tone should be playful and light, nothing serious. Remember, got to make them laugh. It should not touch on sensitive stereotypes or controversies.
So here I am wearing a Shriner's hat. And I hate to say, okay, so I'm committing. You guys know the commercials for the St. Jude Children's Hospital, the Shriner's Hospital for children. And
Yeah, with that seems to have been on the commercials for 50 years.
yes, the one who makes sure that this is where I'm going to hell. Depends on your definition of funny. Okay, see, Mama Blair, I'm going to hell because every time that commercial comes on, Kim's got to look at me and I'm biting my tongue because I'm sick and tired of this kid who is eternally 12 years old. The adorable blanket for $19 a month. We'll send you this adorable blanket.
Yeah.
And the kid don't age. So
No.
whatever they're doing at that hospital is... So this has to go away now.
Be ready to offer an apology. That's another.
I apologize. The blanket truly is adorable, and I should not be making fun of your speech. Dear Lord, please forgive me. Be with the pygmies down in New Guinea. Amen. Okay.
Tip number 3. Prank calls. That's the answer to having a funny show is prank calls.
Yeah, I have
No.
a disconnect button right here.
We are.
And I'll just make you two go away and ignore your existence if you want to do prank calls.
So, because we did. Because we did.
Look like more than Curious George hat than the Shriner. Yes, well, or
That.
Matt Smith when he was Doctor Who in the very beginning of Fezzes are Cool.
Yeah, no, we are not though at the Jerky Boys nor will
No.
we ever be.
Listen, prank calls stopped being funny once caller ID was free.
Yeah, and Prank Yankers was past its prime when it started on Comedy Central. It didn't last. Now, here's something we never thought of, Mike. Tip number 4. Do fun and goofy things. Holy crap, what concept. I know. We should ruin our stomachs and our mouths by burning them with incredibly hot items. That sounds like a fun and goofy thing to do.
That sounds like a good way to ruin an entire episode.
Oh,
Yeah, we need to. So once we're done with this list, we'll have to see. Is there something about figure out what the next big thing is? Because we have to decide how we're going to top that.
Yeah. Well, which leads into tip number 5.
Correct phrase would be. Okay.
Play funny games in studio. Well, we play funny games on air. But we have tons of games that we play all the time.
I mean, if we were all in the same studio, we could play funnier games, but we're not.
Yeah.
So,
Other things on this list: unnecessary censorship. I think the late night hosts kind of have that figured out. I don't think we really need to indulge in that.
They're saying that unnecessary censorship is funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
So we should just randomly bleep whatever words we're using.
Yeah.
no, it means that we get to decide what the other ones can't talk about. So no more British stuff ever. No, I could care less. I don't know.
Hey, I wanted to loop back one thing on the prank call thing. Okay, if there are people who prank call who are still funny, but they're the people who prank answer.
Yes.
Prank answer is funny. If you're getting someone calling you trying to say that they're your nephew, and they're need money because they're being held by the cops or whatever newest scam is that they're doing. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Keep going on that.
Here's another tip. Play truth or dare. No. We're not 13. We don't need to do that.
A lot of this depends on what audience you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
And the type of folks that would find prank calls or truth or dare funny. I do recall that there was an episode many, many, many moons ago when I was on another show. It was the final episode from Pinky's Pleasure Palace, a.k.a. the postage stamp, a.k.a. my apartment. And we played truth or dare on the air. And there was not, the webcam was not working. And I think back to the listeners that we had to that show at that point in time and realize I don't ever want to know where any of them wound up.
Well, those are people that
I don't want them to ever find us again, because
those are people that really believe that someone put excrement in a microwave. So,
correct.
Here we go. Impersonations and impressions. Tick. We're the best at it.
We get those.
Yeah. So those are some of the tips that they have to make us the best and funniest show on the internet.
Is that all?
The list could have been boiled down to do funny things that does not cause problems for anybody else.
Here's the goal of being funny. Be funny. If you want to have a funny show, be funny. Do funny things.
Yeah, thanks. That's useful tips.
Yep. Oh. All right. So as Mike was saying, now we need to figure out, okay, what are what are the next fun games? Eat the chip. No.
No,
we're not doing
You're
eat
not
the chip.
eating the chip again.
So now we need to figure out, okay, we called.
So I do have to say, the wife and I went to Five Below, which was the site of where that whole fiasco kind of was reborn. I'm saying reborn because you tried to get us to do it a while ago, and I said absolutely not. I was like against it, and then how the tables got turned. But Five Below did not have any more of those chips. So there was not going to be any kind of reoccurrence.
Yep.
And after the way things went the last time, there was a decision made off air by, shall we call them, primary shareholders in the PTR Radio conglomerate.
Yeah. Silent partners,
That
if you will.
said, yes, that said, there shall be no more spicy food challenges because it destroys you people. And by you people means us hosts.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, I think we canceled 2 different things that people do from that episode. Okay. So we canceled the spicy food challenge. And we've canceled the can you drink an entire gallon of milk challenge.
Okay. Yes. So let's talk about that one. I went back and watched this again. So
hold on. One more.
It was
Mama Blair writes in, a fun show is good even if it isn't funny. That is true. And that's what we strive for.
Yeah. So I went back and watched that episode again because Kim thought, and this may come off bad, but she thought your reaction, Shaggy, was the funniest thing ever because your eyes got all big. You were in such pain. She was mad at me because I was showing very little to the camera, like as far as reaction. So I went back and watched, and yes, I'm sorry, I laughed at your pain.
Oh, no, that's okay.
So,
plenty of people did. My parents did. So,
what I didn't know was the milk was already open. So it was a half-gallon container, and it was about that far down. And by the time we went off the air, there was only about that much left. So you probably drank maybe 2/3 of a half gallon. I don't know. I'm not doing math right now.
Easily several pints.
So yeah, you drank a lot more milk than I did. Like I drank chocolate milk, but I drank maybe the equivalent of like a cup.
Yeah, I drank at least a quart, if not more.
So
that's
the
bad,
question
even
is,
if you're not mayonnaise.
Yeah, like I've watched the whole drink a gallon of milk thing, and no, that's just there's no way it's happening. So I'm going to say this: I personally am not opposed when the 2023 chip comes out. You know, I'm not opposed to doing it. I'll do it. I'm not going to make anybody else do it on the show. If you guys want to do it, you can't. And Colin, I'm looking at you because I know Shaggy ain't going to do it. But
here's the thing. Here's the truth. It's my weird reaction to it. Okay.
Okay.
I have no problem once I'm healed. That's happening February 8th, by the way, just so everybody knows.
Okay, good.
I have no problem doing the actual spicy chip challenge, okay? What I have a problem with is the amount of dye they put on that chip. That was insane.
Okay. Now, the reason they did it this year, and, you know, Shaggy, you were right. The chip didn't taste like any kind of corn chip I have ever experienced. This thing was basically like charcoal.
Yeah.
That I think they pressed some of the stuff in. But what I've read online is the whole reason they did that blue dye was for the simple fact that people couldn't go and take a Dorito and eat a Dorito on their TikTok reel and say, "Oh, I did the spicy chip challenge," do the old switcheroo. So that being said, the question then became, what if we can't do spicy? What do we do next?
Mm-hmm.
And my lovely and beautiful wife suggested buying the self-waxing kit for your nostrils off of Amazon, and we do that on the air. And I said to her, "You've been watching too many damn Instagram reels, because there ain't no way." Like, I see grown men crying and screaming about that. This compressor on this microphone is not strong enough to handle the way I'd scream like a little bee doing that. So I do not know what the next answer would, or the next thing would be.
We can come up with many stupid things, but I'm not sure who would want to watch. Like, for example, I have one of those Wi-Fi connected things to put in your ear to clean the wax out with. And I enjoy using that, but, it sounds like the kind of stupid thing people would do, like, oh, let's do this live on YouTube, cleaning our ears out. It's like, no. I don't want...
Well, yeah, but that's...
The people who would want to watch that are not the people I want watching the show.
And I thought of, okay, there's sour candies. We could do those. That's, along the same lines as the heat, but not nearly as painful, I don't believe. I mean, it's going to sting your cheeks, that's for darn sure. But I got extra cheek, so I'm okay there. And Mike, I think you said that it was a double whammy with the chip. I don't think that there's a sour on the way out. I don't know. I don't know that
the
it
show
stings
we were
both
talking
your
about
cheeks. Let's put it that way.
There was concern. Okay, so there was concern afterwards, like what the day after was going to be like.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not talking about the movie with Steve Guttenberg. So, Shaggy? Do you want to reveal what happened that night a little bit? So.
Oh yeah, sure. So that
this
night
is important when you talk about the other end.
Yeah. So we did leave. So we did bounce early because my tummy was rumbling. And so it's pretty much as soon as we punched out, I ran to the bathroom, and I didn't full on puke everything up, but I did get sick a little. And then then I went upstairs. My wife is like, "You're done already?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did not feel good after that challenge." And she's like, "So I take it you're not going to want to eat," because she's in the middle of fixing me a homemade pizza. And she's just getting to the point where she's putting it in the oven. And I'm like, it ain't happening. I'm like, I'll pack it up for tomorrow, but it is not going to happen. And then she's like, well, just think about how bad things are going to be later tonight or tomorrow. And luckily, other than I felt like crap, I just laid around for like the next 4 hours. And I think it was the milk that made me just do that, really, more than anything else. And because it just was like a lead balloon in my stomach. It just was not having it. And so that was that was not good. Griffin says to crush it up and have it with a milk chaser.
I
was going to bring it up.
Crushing it up. See, I just said, I read it first. Griffin says the way to do it is crush it up, and I was like, no, this is not The Godfather. I'm not snorting a damn chip. Are you kidding me? Although Colin, that might be a way to that might have seared your sinuses shut. That would have been an option for you.
Cauterize them.
Yeah.
I didn't have any after effects after that. The next morning I was fine.
So a couple of things. The first one is to note that I had a full dinner before this happened. So I had food in my stomach. My first attempt to quench this was drinking one of those pre-made protein drinks, which was 30 grams of protein. It was kind of like a milkshake. That did not work. However, that just filled up my stomach. And then I started on the chocolate milk. So my initial movement, if you will, was fine. However, there were several steps after that where my body was taking every opportunity to get every last drop piece of that chip out of my body. And at that point, all I can say is thank God I keep Tux in the house. Because, man, never again. However, the funny part, and we joke about this, that you joke with Colin's sinuses that it would have cauterized it. My concern about my my potential irritable bowel syndrome, let me tell you, I was fine for like a week and a half after that. It was fine.
So you just need to eat fire.
So I don't know. Maybe it did cauterize up there. I don't know.
Oh, the new PTR Miracle Chip Colonic System.
So, I don't know. But
I'm going to say something here. Like, so the Carolina Reaper puffs that I've been snacking on for after eating that chip, everything else doesn't seem as spicy anymore.
it's tame. Yeah.
Like, I'm eating these like they're just regular old Cheetos.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do next, but
Yeah.
we could do what's those stupid jelly bean things? We could tie it into a game that way.
Oh, yeah, the mystery bean or whatever it is, Bean Boozled.
Yeah, Bean Boozled. That's it. We could maybe do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just bad taste. It's not.
Yeah. True.
Medically questionable.
Yeah, no more challenges that are medically questionable. That we should have to have a release for.
None of us are Johnny Knoxville.
So,
If you ask yourself, what would Johnny Knoxville do? Did he say, well, whatever that is, it's what we should not do?
yeah.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point.
Yeah. Oh.
So it's a no-go on the waxing nostrils.
I mean, I would be okay with it, I guess. I can guarantee the silent
Are you
partner.
sure?
It can't be worse. Plus,
Have you ever seen any?
I actually pluck on a fairly regular basis. I'm pretty hairy, so.
Oh, this is not plucking, dude.
I know. No, I've seen it. Trust me, I know. But I'm sure the silent partner here would say, "Well, no, I'd much rather he do his back than his nose." But
if she's
that's
willing
not
to do
gonna
that
happen.
on camera, and you're willing to do a
No.
40-year-old virgin,
No,
there,
I'm
we can
not.
do that.
No,
Bro.
that's much bigger. No, I'm just because it's weird. It's very patchy back there, so it's very odd.
If anybody was really interested in that, I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of great footage of the inside of my nose. But again, I'm not sure I want those people watching the show.
No. See, no, she just wants to. She's on this kick where she wants me to be in pain. That's the thing. She wants to pull those lollipops out of my nose. I'm telling you. This is going to be one of those things. This is stupid. This is going to turn into, what was that show with the movie with Harrison Ford, Rachel McAdams, and he was a newscaster, and she was trying to get it, and she wound up just sending the one field
Morning
correspondent
Glory.
on all these stupid things. Morning Glory. Just sent the guy on like roller coasters and do all of this stupid stuff, like basically tortured the hell out of him for ratings. That's what she's trying to do right now. We will go viral. No.
Notice how she injected herself there.
Because she's going to make sure that this is done right in front of the Butterstown.com thing, so that can't be edited out.
This wax brought to you by Butterstown.com.
She does. I guess it's, gentlemen. I guess it's going to happen eventually. I'll let you know when. Son of a.
Hey, at least that pain's
Here's the
very
other
temporary.
Problem. Okay, but here's the other problem. All of this stuff, like I could suggest like drinking games, but we broadcast on Monday nights. We got to go to work the next morning.
Yeah,
me having a couple of beers during the show is not that's not going to affect me going to the office tomorrow.
Yeah.
doing some kind of drinking game for 2 hours, okay? If any of y'all have ever heard a telethon show back in the day, okay?
There's been a few Monday night shows where it's been... Why do you think I don't have a bottle in the studio anymore? Because I realized that was a poor idea. Because when it's this close, I just kept filling up my glass. So now I make myself have to go get it every time. But yeah, no.
Oh,
No, actually,
what do I got to drink? I got Everclear. Okay.
No, I mean, I would love to do like if we ever do get together, I would like to do like a drink roulette or something like that. You know, that would kind of be fun. But you know, that involves us getting together. So,
Drinko.
Hey, we could always do one of those cruises because then we have plenty of booze.
So
they do cruises to nowhere out of Newark and Jersey City, so we can go on like a 3-day booze cruise.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the next promotion.
Could be
PTR booze cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Because the listeners that can afford to go on a booze cruise are the ones we probably want to hang out with, not the ones that GM.
Oh, for sure.
GMM. Who's GMM? What's GMM? Good morning.
Good mythical morning.
Good.
Let's come up with a new concept.
Good what?
Good mythical morning.
Good
it's
mythical morning. One of the biggest YouTube channels there is.
It's Rhett and Link. You remember Rhett and Link?
Yeah, Rhett and Link.
Okay.
Yeah.
They do eating, drinking challenges already. Let's come up with a new concept. Well, we're trying to.
Yeah. Waxing is a one thing. We'd have to come up with something else. So, and I don't think we want to be known as the wax guys. Each show they wax a different part of their body. No.
Put it this way, okay? If we wanted to do it before and after, I don't know what, if one of you's here, I don't know, but we could just do like a show one of you, Harry, and then show me not doing anything and say this is the after wax.
So, all right. So
okay, but here's the other problem. I am not naturally hairy. I don't.
Yeah, neither am I. So
that's it. That's it.
There ain't no taco meat down here.
We put Mike on a Rogaine regiment and make him grow hair everywhere.
We would have to find somebody else to be the person being waxed because none of us could be waxed.
Strip poker. Mama Blair, that's your son. No. Why you want to see me and Shaggy naked?
Nobody wants to see that, even the people
Lord.
we're married to.
See, here's the other problem, right? So Kim and I have been watching Impractical Jokers, and they've done a lot of the kind of stuff that we probably could do. I don't know. I don't know about this whole torture thing. Let's move on from this. We got
other things. Speaking of things that are ridiculous, I read an article about 21 things that just break the believability of movies, that make it difficult for people to suspend disbelief. So just a few of them. A text from mom or dad where it's the very first message in the conversation shown on a phone. Okay?
Okay.
Interior shot of someone driving a car and paying absolutely no attention to the road. Bonus points if they're twisting the steering wheel all over the place. Number 6. Here's another one. Anyone can park right in front of the building or house they want to visit, even in busy cities like San Francisco or New York City.
Yeah.
Houses or apartments in general. Too many movies have characters who always seem to own or rent a place that is far above the realistic budget that a character in a movie could afford. Friends is a perfect example. Someone else. Alleys in New York City. They say we have like 3 in the entire city. I don't know, Mike, you're closer to that area than I am.
No, it's true. There are no alleys. Absolutely not. Especially not ones that you could drive a car down, like, you see, always turn down this alley and cut over. We'll head them off. No, there's no such thing.
Everyone's sitting on the same side of a kitchen table, so no one's back is to the camera. Drives me wild.
Here, showing an animal and playing an animal sound effect that doesn't match with the actual animal. I am going to call out Jaws the Revenge on this one. I did not know that sharks could scream like Godzilla when they were impaled by a boat 3 feet above the waterline.
Superhero costumes always being one piece and seamless with no apparent zippers or fasteners. How do they use the bathroom? Interesting, because I've actually heard some of the behind the scenes, and it's very difficult to use the bathroom. When someone drinks from a brand new soft drink through a straw and it sounds empty. Any phone number with 555 ruins the immersion. What do you expect them to do? Give out real numbers?
Yeah.
I mean, no bald people, and I mean no male pattern baldness, especially in speaking roles.
So I'm looking through the comments here because this is when people waking up with full makeup, being alone in the wilderness for 3 months and don't need a haircut.
Sleeping in bras. No woman is sleeping in her bra unless she's passed out the night before from too much partying or absolute exhaustion. Moreover, the bra is often the first thing you take off in real life.
So there's another one here. This one says few or no people wearing eyeglasses. That is becoming less and less true. But
yeah,
what I did notice, and this has been a thing now that I can't unsee, there's never a reflection off people's glasses because 9 times out of 10 when they're wearing glasses, there are no lenses in them.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to reflect the studio lights or anything. So it's
Correct.
just the frame, which I kind of understand that from a shooting perspective. I mean, you wouldn't want that in the shot, but still.
Here's one. NCIS, where the lead agents are like 70 years old. Federal agents have a mandatory retirement age of 57. Please, someone tell the producers.
I was going to say when they have a week to investigate one case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Day. Although they have been rotating people out, so it's less. So NCIS Los Angeles is this is last season for that. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, I did. I see there was another one also ending. NCIS LA is the one with LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell, right?
Yep.
Why am I thinking there's another one that's ending too? But
groups of people watching fake sports on TV, they all sit on the edge of the sofa and cheer exactly in sync for every play. Every motorcycle sounds like a Harley.
I mean, and these are all things that seem to happen like on a regular. Like they're not specifying any specific movie. But I've pointed out there have been some movies, like there have been trilogies that have been ruined for me by one stupid question. And this is, I call it the Indiana Jones effect because there was an episode of Big Bang where Amy gets Sheldon to realize that without Indy, Raiders still happens.
It still ends
like
exactly the same way.
Right? So the reboot of Planet of the Apes, perhaps one of my most I loved the entire trilogy, but when I start thinking about it, there is one point that ruins the entire trilogy for me. Caesar's mom, Bright Eyes or Blue Eyes, I don't remember what, but they run all of this blood work on her in this lab. They don't run a pregnancy test. And right there, the whole movie is like ruined for me.
Nah.
Yep. Now, I can unruin Indiana Jones because that theory is actually incorrect. So,
Okay.
without Indiana Jones, then the Nazis eventually find the Ark. Well, first off, did they follow Indy to find Marion, or were they already on the way to Marion? If they're already on the way to Marion, so they go to Marion, they get the entire medallion from her, and then they go to Egypt, and then they immediately find the Ark. They stick the Ark in an airplane, and they take it to Germany. Once it gets to Germany, you get some people who maybe know what they're doing, a little more controlled, keep it from killing everybody, and who knows what happens there. What Indy did was get them only half the medallion, kept it from being loaded onto an airplane, so it was loaded onto a submarine instead, so that the other guy could decide to play with it on the island before it actually got to Germany where it's supposed to be. So, without Indy, Germans have the Ark and maybe use it to win the war.
I thought of another one, Mike. Whenever you see a scene in a car and there's people in the back seat, the headrests are removed from the front seats.
As is the rear view mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
As is the engine, because no one's actually driving it. It's being towed by another vehicle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you can't,
Or it's a green screen.
Yeah. Boy, the comments there are full of people about the bra comment. I mean, it's just like every other comment is, oh, the bra, oh, the bra, oh, the bra. So. All right.
The definition of a bra could be the problem here. Like full underwire brassiere, I don't think any woman is sleeping in that. Sports bras.
There's a couple people that said sports bras they keep on, or they actually change to it for sleeping.
Okay. Mama Blair is suggesting cover yourselves in chia seeds, I guess, to simulate hair.
That would take a long time to grow.
Which
I
my
don't
wife
think
said-
it's not like a cartoon where you water them and suddenly they sprout and grow.
Yeah, to which my wife was like, "Oh no, we will have no hairy ass men here." That's right.
So, Mike, you posted speaking about drinking and all that kind of stuff. You posted a news article about Fireball and how they're in a bit of legal trouble.
Yeah, so around here, it was explained to me that the liquor stores all keep the bucket of Fireball airplane bottles by the register for the true alcoholics.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what do you mean by that? They said, well, it's simple. You can drink the entire airplane bottle and you won't get busted for an open container because it's empty.
Mm-hmm.
I said, very interesting. So now I'm curious because the Fireball company, Sazerac, is being sued because apparently there are two different bottles of Fireball. There is cinnamon whiskey, which is, I believe, 40 proof. And then there is cinnamon, which is a malt liquor-based cinnamon flavor.
Yes.
That's only like 16 proof. But the word whiskey is the only difference.
Yeah,
one says cinnamon, one says cinnamon whiskey. So, other than like the real fine print that you're not going to be able to read.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an alcoholic. So they're being sued over this. Saying that they're being misleading. I said, oh, really now? Now, the fact that Fireball cinnamon whiskey is actually considered whiskey that should be the real lawsuit.
Yeah.
Because it's not whiskey. It's more like a cordial.
Yeah, it's not great. I have never been a huge fan of any flavored whiskeys. Don't do much for me in the first place. You know, so it's just they just I don't know. Especially cinnamon. Cinnamon is a very divisive spice to begin with.
It is.
And I don't want it in a whiskey.
So ironically, I had this conversation at work the other day with a couple of guys where we were discussing the merits of whiskey. Mm-hmm. And from good whiskeys and great whiskey, single malts to like Fireball and the flavored whiskeys. And my general stance is anything that is spice related. I've had ginger spiced whiskey, which is good in the winter. I've had salted caramel. Caramel is a note that you will get in good whiskey.
Yep.
Depending on how it's aged. So
Yep.
it lends itself to that kind of flavored whiskey. The chocolate, maybe. That's borderline.
Yeah.
Peanut butter, I like the peanut butter whiskeys only because, well, I love peanut butter. In case you didn't know that. But I like the peach whiskeys and all of now you're getting a little out there. And that's where you cross the line. Like they're almost like schnapps at that point.
Yeah, at that point, they really are more like liqueurs or schnapps in my mind. I have a peach whiskey it's good for just sipping, but I don't consider it really a whiskey. It's more of a schnapps thing. And actually, because I'm a huge fan of Irish whiskey. I prefer it over American whiskeys and bourbons and scotches and things like that. So actually, one of the things I thought would be fun to try was, can Shaggy identify his own whiskeys? So I thought, well, I could get like 5 lined up, and I would shuffle. I would label the glasses on the bottom so that I could not see them. Then I would shuffle them up, take a sip, and see if even I could figure out which one was which just from taste.
Okay.
And I thought that might be a fun experiment to do, to see if I can even identify which one's which of my own stock. And I mean, it's full of issues because I'm running my own test and my own randomization, but I think we could still have some fun with it.
And see, that kind of ties into another conversation I had with the same guys. We started talking about the pellet grill.
Mm-hmm.
And smoking using the pellet grill as a smoker and the different types of pellets, like, pecan. And I said, I have tried 3 different pellets or 3 different types of pellets in this grill, 3 different types of wood. And once they burn, smoke is smoke. Okay. Maybe my palate is not refined because I do not taste the difference between applewood, oak, and cherry.
Yeah.
It's not like applewood imparts an actual apple flavor to the meat I've smoked.
No, it doesn't.
Again, it could be because it's a pellet grill or what. But when I said, smoke is smoke, and they're like, no, you don't. And I'm like, no, you're probably the same people that think you could listen to a song and tell me, oh, that's only 160 kilobit or MP3, not 320.
It's better on vinyl than it is on it. No. Oh, no.
So it does make a difference as a pellet grill because the pellet grill does such a better job of actually burning the wood that you get a little bit less smoke. But also, very depends on what you're actually smoking. So what are you smoking?
Well, most of the time, it's some kind of beef.
Beef, okay. Beef.
It's what's for dinner.
You can sometimes tell with beef if it's oak versus other things, but I don't know. beef has so much flavor itself. It's hard to say that the wood is going to make that much of a difference.
You know, the true snobs are the ones like, oh, you can't do pork unless you're doing apple pellets.
Yes.
I'm like, first of all, yeah, I can. It still cooks, just FYI. And when you're slathering as much rub on there as you are, in these Facebook groups, I don't think the smoke is actually imparting much flavor beyond the rub. Okay.
No, I do. The most successful smoking that I did, because I just used my gas grill with the wood chip box and everything, but the most successful, I actually had a misting bottle, and I would go out there about every 30 minutes, and I would just mist a combination of apple brandy and water onto the meat, and that would keep it.
Okay,
that was good. That was really good.
So you bring up a good point. They're all like, okay, you got to use apple pellets when you're doing ribs, and you got to spray it with apple juice or apple cider. Where do you think this apple flavor is coming from? If you're spraying with if you're spritzing with apple juice,
right.
It's coming
from the juice. You're not going to get apple flavor from. Okay, actually, this is a question I should have asked. What kind of wood are you buying?
Well, because it's pellets. You know, that's let me see. The apple was what? Green Mountain, I think. Or
okay.
I think it was Green Mountain. My go-to, my standard is just a Pit Boss competition blend.
Because, yeah, that's what I usually use too. Like I said, it's great. It's relatively cheap. It's real wood. The problem that I see is a lot of the wood pellet bags are just oak, like Traeger. Traeger is almost always just oak. What they do is they spray it with the flavor and to make it taste like it's apple wood. And I'm saying that going, I don't want that. No. So now, I have many bags of real wood in my storage locker. And during the summer, I would try to use something that's pure. Here in the middle of winter, when most of the wood is being burned to create heat, I'm just using the competition blend from Sam's.
So the last time that I did, I forget what it was I did on the grill. I used the smoke tube, and I kind of layered with pecan wood and pellets to make sure I got an even burn to add some additional smoke. Because, like you said, the pellet grill doesn't give off as much smoke as a true smoker. Anyway, the one thing that I did find, and I kind of want to try it, but this is where I think there might be a distinct flavor. There is a brand on Amazon that instead of making their pellets out of wood, they're made from used coffee grounds. And they claim to burn hotter and cleaner. I'll have to find the link for you here. But I do want to try that. That, I think, will impart a specific flavor compared to wood. So I'd be curious to try that. I think you would have to do that with beef and the right seasoning on it. But Mama Blair is saying she thinks hickory smoked has a distinctive flavor. And to be clear, if you're talking about a pure smoker where you're using actual chunks of wood, you're going to get a different flavor or a different smoke. I get profile. Would that be than you would from a pellet grill?
Yeah,
just because it's a different process.
Yeah, I mean it all just depends. Smokers. So
yeah, mesquite. If you get real 100% pure mesquite, and you use it on chicken, I was going to say chicken in general you're more likely to be able to tell a difference in wood. if you're cooking chicken than I think than anything else. But beyond that, Mike, see all these instructions. Oh, I used the 3-2-2 method, or I used the 2-3-2 method for the grill. I take my ribs, I put them on the grill, I set the grill for 225, and then I come back later and I get the ribs and I pick them up with the tongs to see if they tear, and I say, "Yum, time to eat."
Yeah, I go by temperature and feel. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, there's no temperature. I mean, for ribs, there's no temperature. It's because it's whether it does the bend test, and then for pork butt's temp. Yeah, when pork butt gets to the right temperature, then it's done.
Yep.
But yeah, for ribs are just weird. I do like them.
All right.
That's why I did this last weekend. Made ribs, smoked ribs.
So, Mike, another thing that you brought up was you and Mrs. 8-Man had been watching a show that we briefly talked about a few episodes ago, and you had already figured out what the twist was going to be.
No. Let's define this. No, we did not watch it. We are not watching it. The show we're talking about is MILF Manor, which is 40 and up year old women who come to, it's a dating show where they come to this island to meet younger men.
Yeah.
And as suspected, the twist was the younger men, it's all of their sons. So they got to watch Kim and I made it to the point where we found out what the twist was 20 minutes into the first episode. Found out what the twist was. And these women, once they realized it's their sons mingling with these other MILFs, and I use that term only because that's in the title, you could not pay me to buy one of these women a drink at the bar because they oh my God, every single one of them is so blatantly over the top annoying. Like if you ever watched Real Housewives of any city in America, because last time I checked, there's about 172 different series. Real Housewives of Bloomingdale's, Indiana, or what, Bloomingdale's, same, they're probably both. I don't know. These women all have their quirks. Now take every one of them and roll them up into a 70-year-old woman who is telling the world about her libido.
So
I want nothing to do with them.
Rolling Stone, their headline from the 19th, this last week, MILF Manor is a bizarre blend of reality TV and incest porn.
Yeah. Like there was almost I don't want to say an argument, but there was almost like, I thought we may come to blows because I forgot to cancel the recording. And it showed up on the DVR today. Like we sat down before the show and Kim and I were getting ready to eat dinner, and I'm like, okay, well, find something to watch while it's finishing up. And she hits the DVR and she's like, oh no, we are not watching MILF Manor anymore. I'm like, oh crap, it's still on there. I was expecting to get something thrown at me. But no, it's worse than I could have expected.
That's about like I got questioned on a new show I downloaded called Selling Naked or Buying Naked that showed up on Plex. It's a TLC show from 2007, and it's all about it's your typical house hunters type show, but it's in a nudist colony.
Okay.
So, but it's just house hunters. It's naked house hunters is all it is. But it was on regular television, so you don't see anything other than a lot of rear ends. What I find interesting about it is the film shooting, because if you remember Austin Powers, the second Austin Powers, where they were like putting melons in specific places and holding trays to hide the naughty bits.
Yeah.
That's what I look for in this show, is how did they do that during an entire episode? And it gets interesting sometimes. So no more MILF Manor for Mike.
No.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
I will say the U.S. Traders was very good. It's available on Peacock, if you have that.
Another thing that was really good on Peacock that we just got done watching was Baking It. It was a 2001 and 2002. It actually had somebody that we're going to talk about, Maya Rudolph. If you'd asked me the other day a couple weeks ago, who Maya Rudolph was, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. But now I can tell you that she was on Baking It and she was on SNL. So, when the news came out that she is now the new spokesperson for M&M's, because we're very flippy floppy in this world, it was surprising that I actually knew who the hell they were talking about. But yeah, it had Maya Rudolph and Andy Samberg for the first show, and then her and Amy Poehler for the second season. So.
Yeah, Maya Rudolph was one of my favorites. She was in, I liked her in the other, was it Grown Ups movies, I think?
Yeah, she was in there.
And Bridesmaids.
Yep. Yeah, she seems pretty funny. I mean, I
just don't understand why is Eminem suddenly deciding that animated characters need to go away?
Well, there's a conspiracy theory about that this is all just a lead up to a big reveal for the Super Bowl.
From the what?
For the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
Because
good timing.
It is a horrible trend that all of the good Super Bowl commercials are leaked like a week before the game.
Well, it doesn't mind me because I don't watch the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, but you could also go online the next day, and you can watch all the commercials are up on YouTube by then, yeah. Or some sites do a compilation of them. But
yeah,
like leaking it before, doesn't that kind of devalue the
impact,
the cost for a Super Bowl? Yeah.
So Eminem's released a message. Let's see if we can bring it up here. They say, America, let's talk. In the last year, we've made some changes to our beloved spokes candies. We weren't sure if anyone would even notice it now, and we definitely didn't think it would break the internet. But now we get it. Even a candy's shoes can be polarizing, which was the last thing M&M's wanted, since we're all about bringing people together. Therefore, we have decided to take an indefinite pause from the spokes candies. In their place, we are proud to introduce a spokesperson America can agree on, the beloved Maya Rudolph. We are confident Mrs. Rudolph will champion the power of fun to create a world where everyone feels they belong.
Wait a minute. So I'm looking at the tweet.
Mm-hmm.
And they still got the brown M&M wearing pumps, which I thought was the center of the controversy.
Well, it was that, and it was the new purple M&M. Who's
wearing like?
No. They changed the green. They changed the green M&M because the green M&M used to have high heels. She's wearing sneakers now. So if you look, right there, see, she's now wearing sneakers.
Okay.
She didn't used to wear sneakers.
Okay. I have an off theory about this, that they need to appeal to the wokeness because they no longer, and they can afford a little bit of controversy because they're not spending.
Say again.
20-something. They're not spending 20-something million to sponsor Kyle. That's right. She had the
go-go boots. Yeah.
Okay. And wait a minute. Wait. No, put that back. Put that back. Because they changed everybody. Look, they all got like boots, except for Blue. Blue still got the same shoes.
Yeah,
everybody else got boots.
Everybody else just went to basic sneakers rather than lace-ups. Mixture of low tops and high tops. Everybody just went to this. Well, yeah, except for orange.
So orange and blue didn't change, but everybody else got like combat boot type looking sneakers on.
Yeah.
See, M&M's isn't sponsoring Kyle Busch in NASCAR anymore, so that saved them $20 million a year in sponsorship that they can put towards hiring Maya Rudolph to do a Super Bowl ad campaign.
You think she's gonna morph into a new M&M, like Transformer style?
I think she's gonna go out like Mr. Peanut. The animated character is gonna come back and beat her up. Take their job back. And the animated M&Ms are all going to come back and have non-gender descript pronouns that they're going to be addressed with.
Could be.
Because candy has no gender.
Yes, candy knows no gender, no ethnicity. Candy is for all. Which I agree with. Candy's good. Candy can be.
Candy has no gender. While we're talking about evil in the world, I just sent the link to Slack here. Why is White Claw making vodka?
Oh, they've had it for a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I just finding out about this, and I'm not liking it. White Claw needs to stay in their lane and just keep making alcoholic versions of SodaStream seltzer.
Yeah, no, they've had White Claw vodka for a while.
Because we need more flavored brands of flavored vodka. The vodka aisle I don't know how it is in the liquor stores by you guys, but like you'll have the aisles and there's like bourbon, whiskey, tequila, vodka. Vodka has its own freaking aisle because everyone has a vodka and there's 300 flavors.
Oh, yeah. No, there are. Okay, so I just pulled up a list. So everybody knows that we have, berry, coffee, peppermint. Those are pedestrian vodkas, right? PB&J flavored vodka. PB&J flavored vodka. All right. Dill pickle flavored vodka. Bacon vodka. Stolichnaya makes hot jalapeno vodka.
All right, so there's very specific use cases for stuff like jalapeno vodka in a spicy margarita.
They say enjoy it in lemonade.
No, you're out your ever-loving mind. No.
I don't want it in. No, I want like strawberry vodka in lemonade or something. Something that goes with it. Or orange vodka in lemonade. Or, lime vodka in lemonade.
Vodka has no flavor. Good vodka has no flavor.
Here's one. Cinnabon vodka.
That's just marketing stupidity. And some millennials will buy. Do they have a Starbucks flavored, a caramel macchiato flavored vodka?
They say you can make a honey bun cocktail. Mix equal parts Cinnabon vodka and honey flavored whiskey with 2 parts lemon sour. Buttered popcorn flavored vodka.
That's just nastiness.
Yeah, I don't want to. Buttered flavored jelly beans are fine. because it's a small amount. I don't want to drink buttered popcorn.
No.
Fruit Loops flavored vodka.
That one I have seen many, many times, and okay.
They say mix it with
That's been
Sprite.
around, that's one of the original, yeah.
Smoked salmon vodka. Mike.
No.
Alexa, turn on.
No now. No tomorrow. No next week.
You maybe just realize,
Wasn't
hey, wait a
Sam
second,
Hill-
I'm in the basement. I can go get a drink.
So I had to turn the pergola light on for my wife. Lexi wasn't listening to her very well.
Oh, God.
She doesn't always get along. Those two have arguments on a regular basis. So it just works. Bubblegum vodka, blueberry pancake vodka, scorpion vodka.
Huh?
Yeah, scorpion vodka. I've actually seen it. It has a scorpion in it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was named off that terrible CBS show from a couple years ago.
No. No.
I thought that was named after the pepper because there's a scorpion pepper.
Yeah, no. No. That would be a lot better. This is actually scorpion vodka. Here.
That's
Yeah.
brand from Thailand, of course. From
Of
Thailand.
course, why not? Now they have other things too. They have all kinds of
Mama Blair-
insect. Ugh,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Mama Blair came back said, "Do you know who Maya Rudolph's mother is? Don't you?" And I just read this, and she is a singer. I think I can't remember.
Well, her dad's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, so I'm not sure.
Now I gotta look. Minnie Riperton.
And who is Minnie Riperton?
Oh God.
Uh,
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful.
do. Okay.
My voice doesn't go that high.
As well as Hit the Road Jack. Helped out on Hit the Road Jack. So, well, there's some nepotism
I will
for
try,
you.
but my there's a reason I'm not talking very much. I know I don't talk that much anyway, but I do have limited amount of ability to talk for a great deal of time before the irritation in my throat from this constant drip gives me a coughing fit. So anybody's wondering.
Nope. And again,
right,
we
so-
talked about it a few weeks ago. Colin's brain is slowly leaking out of his nose. So,
Yes, it is.
In a side joke to that, only because you kind of phrased it that you don't normally talk. You're not the most talkative of us when it comes to the show. Kim actually pointed out, like, out of the three of yous, Colin is the one that you leave to speak while the other two are recovering from eating this stupid chip.
Yeah, we really should. I really should have thought ahead and had something to do during that thing.
Yeah.
If it had been this week, while you guys were trying to recover, I could have been talking about how much I love the new Night Court. But, bad timing.
Shaggy, did you watch it? Because I
did.
But
I did watch the new Night Court, and I'll have to say, although I think they leaned on the old Night Court a bit much, and they're going to have to see what they can do to step away from that. I did kind of enjoy it. I thought it was good. The constant references to My Dad Harry and literally name dropping Night Court, it became a bit much by the second episode. So That's my only complaint about it, though. I think that otherwise it seemed pretty good, and I thought that their casting did okay. So we'll have to see how it goes overall.
Yes.
But you know, I know they filmed at least the first season, so at least we'll get one season out of them. It isn't something where they're necessarily going to cancel it after the first couple episodes. I wouldn't think, because they've already paid to do everything.
Well, it's more than that. Their ratings were just astronomical.
Well, that's typical.
At the time Night Court, at the time the original Night Court was on, it would have been canceled halfway through showing. But here in 2023, the ratings were astronomical compared to anything else.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know. Well, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I thought it was pretty good, honestly. Now, my wife didn't care too much for it. She thought it was just okay, and I think she watched it because I wanted to watch it, you know. But I don't mind those things. I kept trying to tell her, I'm like, well, you didn't think you were going to like Magnum P.I., but you liked that one. So I'm like, you know, you just got to give it a little bit of a chance, find its own footing. So.
Yeah, I saw some reviews online. Basically, they're like, this is not very deep, and I haven't learned anything new about the secret of what is the meaning to life from this show. So it is terrible. And I'm like, I just want to watch some wacky people in a court in New York that's at night.
Yeah, I want a non-serial, you know, show that I don't have to analyze. You know, that's what I want. I want something funny that I can just laugh at.
Yep.
You know, so. Alrighty, I think we got time for maybe one more thing, and then we'll get into our double feature movie review. So.
You put the poll out there. I don't know if we got any responses, but let's talk about this tipping thing, because this is actually something.
Yeah,
something relevant.
Yeah, so you know, let's see if we did get any updates on that. So I put out a poll before the show saying, hey, do you tip? How much do you tip? Who do you tip? Do you think it's out of hand? Do you think we're tipping too much? Do you think too many people are asking for tips? You know, do you have a tip? Do you like just the tip? What's your tip on tipping? You know, and so that's what we're looking for. So, you know, because there was an article that said tipping has gotten way too out of hand, and we've done a topic before that really the U.S. is one of the few countries that has tipping. It's just not done anywhere else. Other places just pay a living wage and say, okay, here's your money. You know, whereas we say, no, not only do you have to work, but then you have to suck up to customers to try and get, you know, what you should be paid. So, you know, so yeah, customers are getting fed up and posting rants on social media complaining about tip requests at drive-thrus. Others are saying they're tired of being asked to leave gratuity for a muffin or a simple cup of coffee. You know, are they thinking, next am I going to have to tip my doctor or dentist? You know, as businesses adopt more digital payment methods and tipping is yet another thing you have to click through, you know, and you're being prompted to leave sometimes as high as 30% of a gratuity, you know, is it becoming too much? You know, it's frustrating because prices are climbing too.
So here's the thing. I appreciate when the receipt tells you, okay, if you're going to tip 15%, it's this much, 18, it's this much, 20, it's this much, because those are the three most common percentages.
Yeah.
Followed slightly by 0, because you get those cheapskates who don't tip. At least around here. And you know, for those who don't follow along, I'm in Jersey. You guys are in Illinois. In Jersey, most of the time, the restaurants, it's either if it's a party of 8, or some of the fancier restaurants, if it's a party of 6 or more, gratuity is automatically added at 18 or 20%.
Yeah.
My guff here is it should be added at 15, and if this way the server, I don't want to say gets a free pass, but 15, and then we'll tack on.
Yeah.
As long as they're clear about it.
Well, I mean, my thing is,
and look, it's hard. It's hard. The larger groups, it's hard. I get it.
yeah.
We went to a friend's 50th birthday party that essentially was just a big dinner, right? It wasn't a private party, but we were at a restaurant, and the one waitress, she took care of this party of probably like 30 or 40 people, and she was excellent. Now, granted, I wasn't paying a bill, but in a case like that, even if it was 20% automatically added on the bill, I know some of the other guests at the party were handing her money to make sure that she knew you did a great job.
Yeah.
So I don't mind tipping if it's good. Now, Mama Blair brings up an interesting point, and this is where you get into the debate, like kind of what you touched on, living wage or do you tip? In other countries, they don't have such a thing as a tipped employee.
Yeah.
Right? Waiters are paid like a regular employee, and they are expected to do the job. If they don't, they get fired. Here, waiters are paid a lower percentage. They're less than minimum wage because they get tips. That's the legal, the short answer.
Yeah.
And if they suck as a waiter, they're not going to get good tips. Same thing with bartenders. If bartenders don't do a good job, they're not going to get good tips. They may not get fired, but so it's a catch-22 here, right? Yes, you probably will pay higher prices. Me personally, 20% is kind of like the minimum. That's my starting point. And when it gets, if the service is bad, it'll go down. And by bad, I mean the waiter or waitress is bad. Not, and I'll touch on that in a second. If they're great, like our glass is never empty, we don't have to ask for anything, they're constantly making sure we're okay without being annoying, then it goes up from 20%.
Yeah.
I had mentioned to Shaggy that a couple, like 2 years ago, you came out and we went to this one restaurant here in town that's kind of our local joint. Well, they're closing. They announced it this week that next Saturday will be their final, or this Saturday coming up will be their final day of operation. They're closing down. Our waitress, we went there for dinner on Saturday. Kim got a quesadilla. They were out of sour cream. My burger came to me on rye bread instead of a bun because they ran out of hamburger buns. We were lucky that they had a to-go container for our friend who wanted to take part of her menu home, and that's only because our waitress hid a few of them at the beginning of her shift. Do I blame the waitress for all of these? No. So she did her best to make us happy, so she got more than 20%.
Yeah.
If the waitress was like, well, I don't know what to tell her, then I probably would have not tipped her as much.
Yeah. No,
I've talked a lot. Please, guys, chime in, please.
No, I mean, I just think it's the differential is kind of a crock. Let me put it that way, between tipped and non-tipped, right? I'm reading this article here that says, as of January 1st, 2022, in Illinois, the minimum wage is $12. Now, tell me how you're going to figure this out as an employee and as an employer, okay? Because I could not tell you how I was going to do this if I employed tipping staff, all right? minimum wage is $12 an hour, meaning all employees, including those who make tips, must be paid at least this amount per hour worked. However, tipped employees are also subject to a tip credit. Essentially, the tip credit allows employers to pay tipped employees less than minimum wage as long as the employees make up the difference in tips. So that means you're depending upon the employees to tell you how much they made in tips so that then you can offset how much you pay them. Yeah, right, because the employee's really going to do that and give you an honest balance?
Well, okay, so now you bring up an interesting... Well, you kind of touch on
it's not going to be on
where I
cards
was
now
going to go.
anyway.
Well, and that's
Well, yeah, if it's on cards.
Yeah.
Cash is a whole different story.
Yeah, and then you
But
get into the whole thing of tipping, and it says tip credit only applies to hours that the employee spends working for tips. So if a bartender spends 6 hours of an 8-hour shift mixing drinks and receives tips, and 2 hours of that shift cleaning, the employer may only claim the tip credit for those 6 hours. An employer may require tip pooling, but tip pooling only applies to employees that would normally receive tips. Employee can't be required to distribute his or her tips to employees that do not normally make tips. This includes cooks, dishwashers, employers, and in some cases managers and or supervisors. I mean, it's so convoluted, but what it comes down to is there's basically a 40% credit that you could take. So in essence, an employee who is making tips could only make $7.20 an hour rather than somebody who doesn't take tips who's at $12 an hour. And not only are they have to make up the difference in what they make in tips, but then they also could have to put into a pool to compensate for somebody else. It's too complex.
Also, and that tip that you gave them is not going to just them.
Yeah, in the case of tip pools, for sure.
Well, because a lot of times they have to share the tips with the people who actually bring you the food. Because that's not. I mean, the waiter doesn't usually bring you the food. They just order the food from them, and somebody else is the runner.
It all depends.
Somebody else has to clear the table, and so it's.
But
I was getting the percentages
when
I was at Disney of how the waiter was actually telling us. Well, it was the table next to me was telling them what percentage they keep, what percentage goes to the runner. It was interesting. I forgot to remember it, but it was interesting.
That kind of conversation with a customer is that I would think that would be taboo, especially at a place like Disney. But so Shaggy, you were saying a tip. So what's the tipped employee? So it's minimum wage is what? And
$12.
A tipped employee can $12, and a tipped employee can be
$7.20.
Okay,
could be what they actually get paid from the employer.
So quick math: $4.80 difference.
Yep.
Okay, in New Jersey, you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Minimum wage right now is $14.13. A tipped employee, $5.26 an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there is no breakdown. There's no. A waiter or a waitress gets $5.26 an hour.
Yeah.
Plus tips.
I mean, it's just
now this is
nuts.
And to Colin's point, if it's on a card, if you're a cashless establishment, let's just say hypothetically, everything's on a card. It's kind of easy to track and split tips and all of that.
But from an accounting perspective, it's still. You're still changing every pay period how much you're cashing out to an employee. It's got to be insane.
Yeah. Well, that's why you have a payroll company, or you actually you have an accountant that understands that their job is to figure all of that shit out.
Yeah.
But this is where cash versus credit. This is where it gets touchy, okay? Because I'm noticing, and we gotta have to get to the movie review soon. More and more businesses, yeah, pretty much in Jersey. It started during COVID that restaurants started doing the 3% surcharge for credit cards during COVID, because they figured, okay, we're allowed to do this by law. As long as we don't make money on the surcharge, we can pass that on to the customer. It's now at the point in New Jersey that other businesses, example being one vet's office I know, has started putting a 3% surcharge on vet bills that are paid by credit card.
Oh,
y'all got animals.
Wait a second.
Somebody tell me who pays cash for their vet bill.
Are they doing a 3% upcharge, or are they doing a this is the bill and then you get a 3% reduction for paying cash? Because a lot of the credit card companies say you cannot apply a surcharge for the transaction.
Apparently,
what they say is you can. Yeah, in New Jersey, you cannot provide a cash discount. In New Jersey, it is legal to pass a surcharge along to, or a processing surcharge or fee along to the consumer, as long as you are not making any money off of it. So if you are paying 2.7% to your credit card processor in New Jersey, you are allowed to add a 2.7% surcharge to a customer's bill that pays via credit.
See, because there's a limit in Illinois. They can only pass along a 1% transaction cost for us. So what they will do to get around that is what I said. They will up the standard rate, and then they will give you a discount for cash.
Well, okay. So it's kind of semantics the way it's presented. I get what you're saying. I've seen it presented that, like at a restaurant, our menu represents prices after a cash discount, or or there is a surcharge of 3% of your total bill will be. Now, I have fought at least once with a place, ask the manager, you're charging me a 3% surcharge. Does your credit card processor charge you 3%, or do they charge you 2.7%?
Yeah. Because it's all based on volume.
7, well, no, because if it's 2.7 and you're charging me 3, then you are in violation of New Jersey state law, because you are making a 0.3% profit on
surcharge,
what you're charging me.
Yeah.
So you can kind of push them on that, but like I said, I've noticed more places start to do this.
Yeah.
And at what point does this become the norm for every place? And who's it really hurting? So anywhere from 2 to 5%. That 5%. If a business is paying 5% surcharge, they're telling you they're paying a 5% surcharge, they're either lying or they are a horrible negotiator.
Yeah. Because
if you get an account through PayPal, you're paying 2.7% plus 30 cents per transaction.
Yeah.
That's through PayPal for credit card processing for any small business. So 5%.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just another way for them to make money.
Yeah. My opinion is everywhere else other than the United States, they just don't use cash. Everything's card. And if you have a fee that you have to pay to process the card, then that should be built into your prices. And it's much easier to build that into your prices than it is to say, well, if someone does a better job of giving you service, I want to be able to pay them more money, because that's what consumers are doing for that. That's fine. But I'm not going to say, hey, this credit card machine did a really good job of taking my money out of my card. I want to give it more money.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it comes down to if you do want good employees, you pay them more, and you don't pay them conditionally, which is what tipping is. It's conditional payment.
Well,
so if we did up, and yes, you're going to pay more for your meal if that's the case, if there's no tipping there, but then the employer can pay more, and so you just have to live with the fact but there's no tipping.
So here's the question. Where are you going to be more likely to go? With all things being equal, someplace where you're going to pay $12 for your hamburger, plus a 3% surcharge for using a credit card, plus leaving a tip, or a place that you pay $15 for your burger, cash, credit, tip included.
Well, yeah, and that goes along with one of the other things we've talked about, which is one of the observations about the U.S. versus other countries is the other countries is the price at the grocery store that you see for a loaf of bread, that's the price at the checkout counter with tax included, with everything included out the door, right? The price doesn't change between the time you pick up the loaf of bread and then you check out. So yeah, if you just said, this is the price, then this is the price.
And groceries like that. Okay, so my brain stumbled for a second because groceries in New Jersey are tax exempt.
Yeah.
So if you're buying groceries
in U.S., Illinois too.
So yes, the price I see is the price I'm paying.
Pick up a hard drive. That's the price of the hard drive.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, it's just make the price on the menu what the price is when I pay. Don't make me have to guess how much more you're going to add on to it like a used car salesman with taxes, title, license, and dock fee, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, and here's the other problem when you go into a restaurant. I don't know if the tax is some states, I believe the tax, like the service tax, is different than a sales tax. Like, I don't think a restaurant is taxed, your meal is taxed at the same rate as
it gets worse.
Actual sales tax.
It gets worse here because it depends on whether you're in the city or the county. We have different restaurants that, depending upon which side of the street you're on, it could be different. So
and some places actually start. It's a sales tax and a service tax.
Yeah.
So similar to state and city.
We don't have that separated, but it does come up. Different restaurants. The tip percentage they calculate for you. Some do it pre-tax, some do it after tax.
Oh yeah,
that's very annoying.
That's another point.
Yeah, so
because you don't tip on tax.
No,
I'll tell you the most impressive one I saw was Disney. Remember I was telling you about that. I went to the expensive place with the special package because it got me a ticket to go to the show later, so I could see Neil Patrick Harris.
You got a golden ticket?
The tip that they calculated on that the tip was not to the full price of the package. They calculated behind the scenes. They'd calculated the cost of the food versus the cost of the ticket, and they calculated the tip only on the food part of the package, not the ticket.
So before we get to the movie review, you're saying that they calculated you the price of Neil Patrick Harris's tip. All right, that makes perfect sense. All right.
No,
moving on.
They did not make me tip Neil Patrick Harris is what they did. They calculated the value of his tip and then allowed me not to pay it.
Oh, his husband's going to be very upset. He's not getting the worth of his tip. All right, moving on. So one thing we do usually every show is we do our double feature movie review. We're going to do it a bit expedited tonight because we ran long on that topic. But we take two movies recommended to us through Amazon Prime, Netflix, all these different streaming services online, most of which, most Americans are subscribed to at this point. And we have them in a list. We pick randomly from the list, and then we talk about them and tell you whether they're worth seeing, whether they're worth not seeing, and we give you our opinion. So tonight we have two. We have the hashtag phone. Was it new number?
Lucky number.
Lucky number. Hashtag lucky number, and walk of shame. So which one do we want to do first, Mike?
I don't care.
All right, we're gonna do.
Colin said they're both bad.
All right, we're gonna do walk of shame first, and Colin, take it away.
Walk of shame. Okay. So let me just say, there's a concept called the comedy of errors. And when there's a comedy of errors that happened in real life, and someone makes a documentary or movie about that, that's interesting, because that's something that really happened. When you have a comedy of errors that's a movie, I'm just like, you are the laziest writer who's ever written anything, because usually when you're writing a story, you have to come up with reasons why people do things. A leads to B, B leads to C. You can figure out the strategy, figure out what people are thinking, okay? You do a comedy of errors, you're like, why did they do that? Because they're stupid. Oh, okay. And then why they do that? They're still stupid. Okay. So you just get this endless line of stupidity. And my usual thinking when I'm watching a movie like this is the way that they can wrap this up in a way that makes me happy is to have everybody die. Because if everybody dies, I'm like, good, they all got what they deserve. Because it's just a long line of stupidity. So, actually, that pretty much applies to both of these movies. But for the first one, woman is trying to get a job in the network, and is currently at the LA news. I think working for a network news agency in Los Angeles itself is a pretty high level thing. So it feels kind of like we really should have been. Anyway, it doesn't seem like it's such a huge thing for her to not get this job. I can't remember the guy's name, but it's Mozzie from White Collar. Great actor. I was happy to see him. This movie gets a +1 just because he's in it. I didn't really quite understand him at first. He just was kind of... Anyway, he's dead. I'm sorry. I'm rambling right now because I can't really think of anything else about this movie. So, anyway, she loses the job. Then she goes out and gets drunk, hooks up with a guy, wakes up in the morning, finds out that she was actually getting the job that she didn't get, is stupid, gets herself locked out, her car gets towed. Why the guy she was with didn't make sure that the car was not parked in a towed area, but that's the place where he lives. Maybe that was explained later. I missed it. I don't know. That didn't make any sense. And then, let's see. She gets in a taxi. She gets mistaken for a hooker. She gets picked up by the police. Things just continue on and on and on. And like I said, unfortunately, she does not die. I'm not going to give this. I'm going to give this. I don't know what's one up from puke. I half wanted to give this a puke because I just hated it so much. Verp because of Moz. There you go.
All right, I'll run next. So, comedy of errors. I think that's a great classification for this. I kind of thought, well, this is a dirtier version of Adventures in Babysitting. You could also look at it as The Hangover, or Meet the Parents, or Euro Trip, or lots of other ones. I'll Be Home for Christmas, or I don't know. There's a ton of other movies you could reference, but yes, it's a comedy of errors movie. I like the premise personally. I think it's pretty good. I don't mind the storyline. I think it's kind of interesting to see the situations that she gets herself in time and time and time and time and time again, and the recurrence of characters bringing back references. And I think it's, I don't know. I thought it was kind of good. My wife even started laughing at this one, so she thought that was nothing bad about this movie. She thought it was going to be horrible at the beginning, but then she started to like it. In fact, she even referred it over to her sister-in-law. So, that kind of gives it a little bit of a stamp of approval in my book if my wife doesn't hate it. So Because usually I get comments like, why are you watching this? What made you choose this movie? Why do you continue to do this ridiculousness? When are you going to grow up? Why don't you shave more often? I mean, not all of the comments necessarily go with the movie, but the commentary is the same nonetheless. But she liked it. She liked the movie overall. We had a good time watching it. I'm going to give this one a smile. I know it's probably going to be a dissenting opinion, but I actually liked Walk of Shame. I thought it was pretty funny, and this isn't one that, when I got people over the house and we just want something in the background, I'm not going to have any problem throwing it on because I think it's kind of good. So, all right, that's mine. Mike?
Okay, so I am 99.9% sure I have watched this movie before it showed up on the list. Probably because I was in a very brief Elizabeth Banks phase. I don't want to talk about it. Quote unquote, no one looks at those YouTube things anymore. Okay, we've got how many years of broadcast that are going to prevent me from ever holding a public office at this point? Come on. Lap dance instead of paying for a cab ride. Just a lap dance? I'm going to ask some of our elder listeners, didn't the phrase used to be cash, grass, or ass when it came to getting a ride somewhere? Either Elizabeth Banks has the ability to run very fast in high heels, or this is the slowest running drug dealer ever. And Pookie, of course. Now I know I saw this movie before. Pookie's in this movie, of course. Quote unquote, I don't know anybody's number. This movie was from 2014. I had to go look it up. And I'll be damned if that is not a total millennial problem these days. Hell, now the problem is even worse because it used to be when you got a new phone, you had to manually go input all of those contacts into your new phone, one little click at a time. And that's how you knew somebody was a true friend. If they made it from the old phone to the new phone, that was somebody you cared about. If they didn't, you were like, God, to hell with them. It's not just USB cable. Okay, let me just sign into Google and everything will download automatically. This is probably the most serious drop of wisdom that came out of this entire movie. When a crackhead gives you his crack, you have his heart. That's serious wisdom right there. This is officially the longest walk of shame ever because I'm pretty sure she just walked the entire Pacific Coast Highway in heels, no less. Okay, somebody's going to have to refresh my memory because it's been a while since we actually watched these movies, but I have a note here. Really now? Carly Rae Jepsen music gets this guy off? I have no idea what part of this movie that was about, but okay. And here is a piece of real world knowledge that was dropped on us during this movie. I don't care what people think anymore because it's exhausting. The more effort you put into trying to make people like you, the less effort you put into liking yourself. There is words of wisdom from your Uncle Mike. This is also going to get a smile from me. Is it unrealistic? Of course it was. But it was fun and Pookie.
Yes, I'd like to thank Pookie. I forgot I was going to grab all those names and give them a shout out at the end.
I will clarify that I hate comedy of errors. And also, I may have been running a fever while I was trying to watch it. But I still despised it.
In my experience, that should have helped.
No.
Not hindered, helped. All right. Hashtag lucky number is up next. We'll go in the same order. Colin, what is your fever?
Okay, hashtag lucky number. So this one, it says that it's a true story. So I looked it up, and so here's the true story behind this movie. Okay, a sports journalist in New York got a new phone and came to find out that it was A-Rod's old phone number. Unlike what happened in this movie, what he decided was, hey, this sounds like a good idea for a movie. So he wrote a movie about what someone like him who found the phone number of someone who is famous might do with that phone number. Okay? So that's the extent of the real life story behind this movie. Okay. Maybe this is the kind of thing the Mike would cover, but this starts off. You have an NBA player, and the guy who finds his phone, and the NBA player is this guy's childhood hero. Okay, so did this guy start playing for the NBA in kindergarten? Because that's the only way I could figure out why this guy could have been that guy's childhood hero. Because I don't know how long he could have been in the NBA otherwise. I'll warn you right now, my laptop, I forgot to bring the power cord in, and it's complaining to me. So if I disappear, sorry. So anyway, yeah, so he gets this. He and his friends decide to play around with all of the things that are being given away free to the guy who owns this phone. And comes to find out is the NBA guy who's having trouble with his wife. That's why he changes his phone number. And I did like that they came up with this little idea that they got the phone company to backdate turning off the phone, which allowed this entire thing to happen. I did like the fact that they just went to the trouble of coming up with something. Because otherwise, a phone company turning a number off and then immediately giving it to somebody, that would not happen. But, yeah, so everything ends up with the guy, because the guy lost his job, he ends up at the end that this is on his own sports line. He's an anchor on a sports show now. He was just telling the story of this thing. His life is now good, and he has the girl, and he still has a Bentley, and everything's great, even though minutes ago and within the movie, people hated him. It got kind of weird there at the end where it didn't really, well, I'm just going to say the end. Things didn't really quite click. But when you have an entire story from a guy who just found a phone number and thought that was enough to make a movie out of it, I guess that's what you get. It was still a comedy of errors, and I still hated the stupidity of the characters. But this one, I didn't hate it as much. So I'll give this one a smirk.
All right.
I think that's one above meh. But if it isn't, then it's whatever one above meh is.
Yep, I think it is. All right. So, yeah. I mean, this was one where, started watching it. Wife is like, well, this looks dumb. And her opinion didn't change. All right. This was not a movie that got her endorsement at all. I, however, did start to like the movie as it went along. It did get a bit more endearing. And then I got to thinking, hey, maybe we could get a cell phone number that used to be registered to an important person. We know somebody. Let's work that angle. I could use like Shaq's old number. That'd be fun. Because thinking, I like how they set rules, then they almost immediately start breaking those rules. It's very much in the line of something that I would try to do and then immediately break my own rules. So I really got into that and thought, okay, yeah, this is definitely the way that it would go. So I liked all the hijinks, all the hiding. I honestly loved the overacting because there was plenty of that. I thought that the Method Man's wife in the show was really good. I loved the manager. This had kind of fun, kooky written all over it. And I kind of like that for a B movie. I mean, this was never going to win an award. It was never going to be anything terribly exciting. I think the 50% user score rating on TMDb is probably about right. You're not going to hit a whole lot of, them out of the park on this one, but I think it got pretty good. And, I don't mind that everything turned out okay in the end. I'm good with that. So again, I'm going to give this one a smile because it made me laugh at certain points, and it didn't take too long to get it done either. It was a nice short movie. Mike?
Kind of weird at the end. This entire movie is weird. All right, look. It is a pretty twisted world where a parent says you need to get a good girl before you get a good job, or quote unquote, or bang out an ugly one and rebuild from there. I am pretty sure that my mother would die before ever even coming close to that kind of suggestion. In fact, since I have no kids, I am pretty sure that my mother still thinks that I am a virgin. You see what this Jersey boy, pun intended because he was in Jersey Boys, is acting like on the dance floor? Not all Jersey boys act like that. Let's be clear. 3 girls, Neapolitan style. I think I know vanilla and chocolate. Somebody tell me what's strawberry. Unless we're talking about hair color here, which then it makes a little more sense. And see, when the paths cross, this is exactly why the rules should not be broken, and there should have been an auto-eject rule in the mix here. This ain't Asimov's 3 rules like iRobot. This is you stealing somebody's identity, okay? This is like a federal crime almost. And you see how quickly power corrupts this man. This is exactly the thing that Uncle Ben warned Peter Parker about. You know Method Man is getting serious when he drops that N-word. You better pay up quick. And he lost the girl. Now listen to me. Here's some more free advice from Uncle Mikey. If a toilet starts bubbling, do not, I repeat, do not put your head near the toilet to figure out what's up. That is free advice, and you should write that down. Saint goes into Daddy's office and didn't take the note off the door when he got there. Now, you see, this is one of those little details that completely ruins the believability of this movie. Big sign on the stairway door that says, re-entry on this floor. But he can't open the door. Again, it's another detail that was missed that is ruining this movie. They need to hire me to fact check and make sure that little things like this are taken care of. Puke to Schnikes, okay? Wait, hold on. There are bloopers. The bloopers don't help. This is getting a shrug from me. The little mistakes throughout the movie that showed exactly how little attention to detail was paid during the filming makes me sick. And Method Man should be ashamed of himself for lowering his career from the pinnacle that was Soul Plane to this piece of crap.
Oh, don't forget he was in Keanu as well, which we did.
That was after. That was after.
Oh, true. So, all right. Well, quickly, we need to pick movies for next show. So, Mike,
1 to 46.
1 to 46. All right. 36.
36. Well, we know this one is still available. No, this is not still available because we saw this one. I am not watching Old Goats again. You can kiss my ass. Who put this back on the list?
I have no idea. All right. 28.
Okay. This one I know is still available too. And if it's not, I'd be shocked. Okay, no. It's on Amazon Prime, My Spy, which is a Dave Bautista, arguably the best actor to come out of the WWE
You're not going to pick The Rock for that?
I said best actor, not most
prolific.
Down in your face. Down. Dave Bautista is actually a decent actor, but we can discuss that on the next show.
All right, and 32.
Let's see. Is this one still available? Yes. Also on Amazon Prime, 45 Days to Be Rich. Before Jake and Joe can inherit their mother's $1 million, they must first abide by her will and agree to live with their estranged Greek brother for 45 days. Oh, dear Lord, this is going to be... this is going to be like a bad...
At least it's short. It's an hour and 14 minutes.
I'm calling it now. This is going to be a horrible riff on Perfect Strangers.
Yeah, or something like it. When the title of the featured review says, please just why. All right. So, folks, with that said, we are at the end of another show, and we would like to thank you all for being here. And, don't forget to check us out on all the social media platforms at PTR Radio on your favorite ones, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, etc. That's where we post in between the shows. You can also check out our website, ptrradio.com, for information about all the hosts and everything going on. One of these days, we'll actually, redo it and add all of these great... we've got like almost 300 movie reviews at this point. I was looking the other day. It's pretty extensive. So one of these days, we will get all those posted. But for now, you can read all about us and where we came from, how we got into this crazy thing called broadcasting, and much more. So, like I said, next Saturday, a week from this Saturday, I will be at the Convention Center in Springfield, Illinois. You can come up to me up on stage and say hi, see us all on the big screen, and, just say that you heard about it here on PTR Radio. It's, right now, 1,000 people are signed up for that event. Working our way towards 1,300 very quickly. So that is going to be the biggest trivia event in Illinois. So looking forward to everybody coming out there and saying hi, hopefully. And, things are still available. Just go to cash4tips.us if you want to sign up still. In addition to that, coming in April, I will be hosting an event in Buffalo, Illinois. That will actually be our own event. So that'll be another trivia night. So with that said, really, that's all that I've got. Have you guys got anything where you're going to be anytime soon?
No. I don't have any events scheduled until April.
All right. And Colin will be at a outpatient surgery location near you soon, which we're looking forward to. And Colin, we do hope that everything goes well with that. And, I
think we lost Colin, actually.
I think we did,
He's
too.
not moving.
Otherwise, he's in deep contemplation.
Colin, we will send you thoughts and positive vibes for your surgery, your outpatient surgery. We hope all goes well.
Yep.
And listeners, will keep you posted on the PTR Facebook page. Maybe.
Yes. So, all right. Thanks again to everybody listening. Please have a good couple weeks, and we will talk to you again on the 6th, maybe. It all kind of depends. With Colin's surgery right then, we might reschedule. We don't know. So just check us out on social media, and we'll tell you for sure. All right. Thanks, everybody. Stick a fork in this, folks. We are done. Later.
You can't even help yourself with the revenge of a monkey.